alaikum and welcome to Titli's Busy Kitchen with me, Titli. This week on my Afghan adventures I'm going to make something called Bolani, which is kind of somewhere between a stuffed flatbread and a samosa. So let's start with the dough. I've got 400 grams of plain flour here. I'll just add in a teaspoon of salt and mix it in. Then add 175 grams of water and a teaspoon of oil and mix together. Now if it looks like your dough's not going to come together, it's a bit dry, add in another teaspoon of water and mix in. And keep adding water a teaspoon at a time until you get a nice soft dough. I ended up adding an extra 2 teaspoons of water in total, and I've now got a nice soft dough. I'm just kneading it in the bowl for 1 or 2 minutes, make sure it's well mixed. Okay, that's looking good. I'm now going to cover that and just leave it for an hour. Right, now I'll make the filling. For this simple filling I've got 2 medium potatoes that I've peeled and cut into quarters, about 6 spring onions or scallions cut into rounds, half a cup of freshly chopped coriander, a couple of tablespoons of vegetable oil, a teaspoon each of salt and freshly ground black pepper. Now there are other fillings that you can make, and I've listed some of them on the recipe notes that go along with this video on my website, titlisbusykitchen.com. Boil the potatoes in water for about 10 or 15 minutes until they're soft enough for you to pass a skewer through them. Then drain. Then add the oil into the pan and mash the potatoes. Now add in the salt and pepper, the coriander or cilantro, and the spring onions, and mix it all together. Lovely. Now you can't eat Bolani without dipping them in something, and this yoghurt dip I'll show you is fairly typical. So I've got 250 grams of plain yoghurt here. I'm going to crush in a garlic clove. Then I'll add a teaspoon of dried dill, half a teaspoon of salt and a quarter of a teaspoon of coriander powder, and mix it all together. And hey presto, 1 dip. Oh, it's delicious. So here's my dough. It's a bit like clay. I'm going to cut it into 6 roughly equal pieces. There we go. Now I'm going to flour this surface, then take a piece of the dough, form it into a ball, press it out, and then I'm going to roll this out until it's about 8 inches in diameter. There we go, it's not bad, it's quite thin. If you're worried about your dough not being circular enough, there's no shame in popping a dinner plate on the top and cutting around it. But I'm going to stick with this. Now put a couple of big spoonfuls of your filling on one half of the dough. Press them out. You're going to want to leave a border around the edge. Okay, now I'm going to fold up this side, fold it over. Now squidge the edges together. And there we go. Now you can bake these at 220 degrees in an oven for about 8 to 10 minutes. But I think they're much nicer when they're shallow fried, just 2 or 3 minutes each side. When they're nicely browned, lift out of the oil and pop on some kitchen towel to drain. And on with the next one. Serve warm with the dip as an appetizer or a side dish, or just pig out. So that's Bolani. Very simple, very delicious. Kind of reminds me of that Italian song. You know the one? Bolani, whoa. Anyway, subscribe, follow me on Facebook and Twitter, and don't forget to visit my website, titlisbusykitchen.com. Thanks for watching, and do join me next time in my busy kitchen. Until next time, Khuda Hafiz.